Before we get started on Witches and Weaves, let us cleanse our spaces of negative energy with a protection mantra said by Space and finished by me.
If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless our space. If you are negative, you better get up out our faces.
Period.
And a flourish.
Second period. Y'all, this is episode 8. That's crazy.
It is.
Honestly, that is a little crazy. I can't believe we made it to episode 8.
But what is it episode 8 of?
Oh, right. Introduction. Hello. Welcome to Witches and Weebs. We're two idiot otaku witches who managed to summon and befriend a demon somehow came together to talk about all things spiritual and witchy and weeby by combining aspects of each other and weaving them together to create a comfy community. But honestly, we just like talking a lot. And what better way to do that than to restart our spiritual journey while writing spells and filling out our grimoire and talking about why Usopp is the best underdog in anime history. I'm sorry. You can call me Mia because that's my name, and let's be real, y'all not gonna call me anything else. And right by my side are my two favorite witches, one being a demon and one being chaotic.
I'm the chaotic one. Space. Nice to meet you, everybody. I'm a mess. That's just how it is.
I'm Baji. I don't answer to your authority. You didn't put that in the circle.
Respect my authority.
Nah.
Respect my authority.
Let me check your contract. Nah.
All right, well.
Fine, I guess.
Whatever. Anyway, today's episode is about anime magic and how they could possibly work in your everyday practice. We're going to go through all types of anime magic. We're going to talk about things like curses and demons and how they align with actual magic in real life. We're going to talk about cultures and how they came together. And then we're going to talk about spell circles. So that's going to be fun.
Hooray! So, where are we starting today?
I believe we're going to start with positivity. Well, I guess we're going to start with the fact that not all anime magic can be real magic.
That
Clearly.
is true. It's not like anyone can just go out and, say firebolt and bomb an entire country. Unless you happen to be a certain country we live in. But
Okay, but even then, that's not magic. That's just being on a power trip.
That is true. But that's a lot of anime characters' secret ability is power trip.
You're right.
But yes, just because it is flashy does not mean it's magic. There are tons of examples of just like the OP main character or the super overpowered villain that always has like some weird mystical ability that comes out of nowhere and suddenly they're hucking suns at people. That's not magic. That is special abilities, special powers, special crap like that. And they call it magic. It's not magic. It really isn't.
No, it's more like, I would say, is actually more like energy work.
Yeah.
It's not magic. It's never been magic.
So if you're listening to this episode and hoping we can turn you into Goku, because let's face it, Vegeta's a simp, nah, that ain't happening. Even if Goku is a terrible father, to Vegeta actually kind of a good dad.
Vegeta is best husband, best dad, terrible person.
True.
And that is perfectly okay, because he is best dad, best husband.
We'll get into character breakdowns later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me just not start on Vegeta. Let me just not start on Vegeta, and we'll get back to magic talk.
But yes, so if you see these characters like Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, who will literally drop the fucking sun on you, I know, I'm right there with you, babe. But the mustache alone.
Big beefy mustache, man. Sign me the fuck up.
If you're looking for stuff like that, or like pulling up a stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that's not really how magic works. That's how energy work kind of works. If you're really, 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 really good at it, and I'm talking like born as the prophesized one. Or B, for that second one, I can introduce you to a few summons. They're from the Lesser Key of Solomon. They're great guys. You may have to give up some body parts.
Excuse me?
Oh, no promoting summoning demons here on the house, please. Thank you.
Summons demon, also us. So don't do that because...
Listen, we're in contracts now. Of course we shouldn't, like, fucking promote it, man. We're stuck.
I mean, that is part of the contract as well, is that you do have to promote me.
Oh,
My people are underrepresented in media.
That's fair, and technically, by doing the podcast, we're promoting you by nature, so...
That is true. The more my name spreads, the more my power grows.
There you go. So
I can't believe you're just a subgenre of demon.
Excuse?
You are a subgenre of demon. You are your own genre of demon.
Okay, Space, I need you to bear witness to this, because I'm just going to cross out this
Cleansing
condition in Mia's contract.
I am in my circle. I am in bubbles. I have nothing involved. Nope.
I'm in hell.
Okay, so, yeah, Mia's timeline is now down by 3 more years.
That's crazy. Does that mean I die sooner?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, oh no.
Listen, we all have a little suicide thoughts up in here. So, moving on. Now, magic is more so the ones that you see with any kind of staff, and does one of those little circles.
Yes, spell circles, or often enough, especially if it's a fantasy anime, the alchemist character who you see mixing herbs and stones and stuff like that into a bowl.
An element of magic. So...
But yes, it's stuff that isn't immediately apparent or immediately powerful, but does help in the long run. Let's see here. Going into that, what would you say are some beliefs of or like actual witches you've seen in animes or manga? Because there's a lot of representation of just like a necromancer who summons 1,000 demons or zombies in a night, but not a lot of like actually people going into spell work.
I'm trying to think because I was thinking of one and I cannot remember it for the life of me.
I have somebody, but I need to make sure that it's actually magic and not special abilities. Give me a second.
What's their name? And what do they do?
I don't know how to say it, so that's why you have to give me a second. I need to figure out who it is first, because I need to figure out how it's spelled. Okay, actually, I do think that Aladdin from Magi is a very good example of a very good magician and magic user.
Ooh, that is a good one.
I don't think I've seen that, actually.
I saw only a few episodes of it. That's why I was like trying to figure out if he was one.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I saw the original one, the original Magi. Very good. So it's probably good. Okay. I thought Magi was just a very good anime, so.
Yeah. Let's see. Another good one, and this is a weird one. Negi from Negima.
I have not seen that either.
Oh, Jesus, I need to write these
so
down.
it's a harem anime, and it's an okay one.
Okay, I'll take an okay harem anime.
Basically the whole thing is just like, he needs a knight to protect him while he casts his spells, because his spells are not immediate casts, like I'll throw out a fireball. He needs someone to protect his ass because these are full rituals he's got to perform.
I can't believe he's just a D&D character whose spells are just all rituals.
A great example of alchemy is fucking Full Metal Alchemist. Duh. Like...
Yep, that is true, and also involves alchemical circles, symbols.
Yes, it involves all the kind of symbols. Everybody except for a select few have to use symbols. So there's a hierarchy of people that have practiced, or people that are just born prodigies, as in, or paid the price, as I should say, Edward and Ed.
Yep.
Al. Who's Ed? Oh my God.
Edward and Ed.
Edward and Ed. Ed and Eddie.
Eddie. So anyway, right? So that's that one. And it also has consequences.
That is true. Yes. Equal trade.
Equal exchange, which is very important in alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Another one, and this is someone whose name I can't remember. She is from season 2 of Sword Art Online, the blonde fairy girl.
You lost me.
I only saw.
Yeah, no, I can't remember her name, but she was a magic user, and she had to go through full incantations before she could cast a single spell. Like,
Why?
memorizing, learning the words and meanings of the words fully before the spell would be able to cast.
I mean, I feel like that's an okay representation because it just shows that magic is not going to happen instantly. You got to build up to it. You got to do the research, and then you got to fix your energy for it to actually manifest into magic.
Yeah, that's sort of about the root of what we can see as far as anime is concerned, because they don't really have a lot of time to develop the full magic system of just like, here's all this exposition about just this. You have to kind of see it in action, and very few anime actually do that. They'll just go like, all right, so they're dropping an ocean on you. How?
Right. And not even elaborate on how they're doing it. They're just like, here's the ocean. Enjoy.
Ta-da! Also, technically, Cardcaptor Sakura is a very good example of magic system.
That is true, yeah. Cardcaptor Sakura or Tsubasa.
Yeah, Tsubasa is also a very good representation
Because they're
of a
by the
magic
same
system.
dude.
Of course. They're also beautifully drawn.
They really are, and then you watch Ouran High School Host Club, and you're just like, why is everybody freakishly long-legged but short-armed?
Because harem anime.
With yaoi hands.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a little sprinkle of fan service in there, so it tracks.
True. Let's see here. There's also going into Cardcaptor Sakura. That is one of the exceptions, because in most cases, magical girls do not need to apply here, because for the majority,
true.
They are warlocks. They make pacts for the majority of their powers.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so true.
Yeah, it's mostly packs, so he's very good fucking point. Cardcaptor Sakura is one of the very few exceptions, because she is a magical girl, but she is a witch.
Well, you could
sorta.
You could make like the 50-50 there of just like, yeah, she comes from a magical bloodline she did not know about until she made a pact.
That's fair. Yeah, the pact kind of started it, but she did end up being both her own magical girl as well.
Yep. But there's tons of examples. Madoka Magica, the entire source of their powers is making a deal. Maho Shoujo site, which I have talked about on multiple episodes now. I will not give it up. It's a good but still disturbing show. Do not watch if you are wanting to feel good. Literally,
you want to feel nice? Don't watch it.
Yeah, don't. The entire premise of the show is, hey, you are deeply traumatized as a girl. Log on to this website, input your personal information, we'll send you magical girl power.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's a terrible idea.
Yes, because after that happens, the premise of the show becomes, there can only be one magical girl, now fight each other to the fucking death.
That's brutal. Why we can't all just be
it.
magical together?
I want to watch it. I 100% want to watch that shit. Sounds like a ball.
I mean, a little bit. Or Future Diary. Which, Future Diary actually has some elements of magic in it, but at the same time, it's a pact.
It's funny because I was actually going to say that I think Fairy Tail actually has some really good examples of magic users.
It does, especially with, God, I forgot her name too. The one with the keys.
Lucy?
Lucy, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I think she is one of the best examples of magic users, and she's actually quite strong, from what I understand.
Her and again, these are anime that have hundreds of episodes that I just have not watched. There's her, and then there's that girl who just like can summon her equipment onto her at any point in time, like switch out equipment.
Shit.
The red hair girl, Urza.
I've only seen a little bit of Fairy Tail, but I do research, so I did know that Fairy Tail is a pretty good example of magic users.
Yes.
So what kind of... Do you think that any kind of anime magic is technically possible in real life?
For sure. I know for a fact that divination crosses boundaries. Anime uses it
yeah,
a lot.
true.
Like, there's always a prophet or a seer or something
That's a good
like
point.
that.
I didn't think of it that way. That is definitely magic. I completely forgot that divination is so popular in anime, and that's always magic.
That's because divination is really popular in Japan in general. Like, it's part of their culture that they have had divination methods that have gone as far back as the Edo period.
I'm gonna have
Some
to
even
research
further.
that. I'm gonna have to research that way more. We should do an episode on that.
We
Write it
should, but
down.
that does require a lot of research because that is
for
history.
sure.
But yeah, even like classroom anime where magic isn't even a thing, there's usually a student that has like a deck of tarot cards out just going, I can read your fortune for everybody.
That's so cool. I love that. Damn, I actually do want to do an episode on that. That'd be great to research.
But yeah, lots of divination magic coming in from anime and manga. Lots of energy work, as we stated. It's magic adjacent.
Yeah, energy work is always part of magic, though, so I think.
And conjuration. Because almost every fantasy anime, someone gets a familiar or a summon or something, and it either goes one of two ways. One, they did it right and they get their familiar that's like bonded to their soul or a representation of them, their true self. Or two, they fuck up the summoning and then you get your boy here.
Oops.
Did we actually fuck up?
Did
well,
we
you
fuck
see-
up?
Well, you see, when you made the circle, you were supposed to include a line in there about, authority protocol, so you would have some sort of sway over me. You forgot.
I don't believe you. I think you're gaslighting us right now.
Am I? Am I really?
You're doing it right now. You're gaslighting us right now.
I'm being
Alright,
gaslit.
episode's over. I'm gonna fucking leave.
Oh!
Why are you such a brat?
Because he's a demon. Duh.
Oh my god.
Duh. That's how it works. Hey, come back. We need you. Please.
Okay, while Baji's going to go take a shit, I'm going to talk about Naruto and how them actually being able to activate their chakra to use their abilities is a really good way to apply to life. Like, you're not going to fucking cast a fireball jutsu or a water dragon jutsu, but it's still like a good way to work on your energy so you can feel the strength and like the properties that are intended for whatever you're doing.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh god, I thought he was really mad. I was scared.
Hey, Mia, check your liquor cabinet. You'll find it much lighter.
You think I have a liquor cabinet? I'm not that privileged.
Fine,
I
then
also
check
don't
your
have
booze hole.
I don't have one of those either. What, you want me to look at my butthole or something? Like, that's where I put all my alcohol.
I also don't have no booze.
Yeah, that's why I took your weed.
Oh, that's fair. Touche. I like touche.
You just look down next to you. Oh, fuck.
Oh my. I was like, oh damn. Okay, so we've talked about positive examples of anime magic. What about curses? And I will say that we're gonna start with cursing. Jujutsu Kaisen, great example of cursing people.
Jujutsu Kaisen, yes. Maho Shoujo Site, again, yes. Because, yeah, they had a pact that's actually a curse. Madoka Magica is a pact that is a curse.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are all pacts, so those are technically curses. But
you could even technically say One Piece with all the devil fruit powers.
I was
Each
thinking
one of
about
those,
that just now.
It's a
gonna lie,
pact where you have to give up something very desperate for survival.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was thinking, I thought about them earlier in the
Me too.
first section, I was like, no, that's probably more of a curse, actually.
Yeah.
So,
It's like
I'm glad
a
somebody said
pact.
it.
Kind of
Yeah,
like a
it's
pact
definitely-
thing.
Yeah, because they're giving up something. I will say a lot of horror manga definitely do it great.
Yep. Which brings me to one of my favorite horror mangakas, Mr. Junji Ito, who is the master of Japanese horror for a reason.
Now, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but I've seen a lot of his artwork around, and I will say it's some of the best artwork I've ever seen in manga. It's so detailed and beautiful and haunting.
And at the same time, all of the human characters enter that weird, uncanny valley of just like, they could just be regular people, or they could be the worst thing ever seen. And that's all of them, so you never know who's going to be the one that turns.
Yeah, that's fair. They're all very they're drawn like that. Yeah, they're just drawn like that.
Yeah. I will say he is the master, especially when it comes to curses and things of that nature, because almost every single element of his mangas is just like, these are regular people. Shit happens to them that they will never understand, never know about, or never realize is happening until it is already far too late to prevent it. And in some cases, it's not preventable at all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I have a hard time reading those kind of things, because I am a very much I like a hope at the end of the story, and those are not hopeful at all.
Yeah. This man managed to make balloons scary.
I'd never forgive him. I already hate clowns for like specific reasons. So, like, you can't take away balloons from me, please.
I'll tell you about that one off stream or off cast, because that one's a trip. But one of his most well-known works is called Uzumaki, the Spiral, and
I feel like I've heard that name before, though.
Naruto?
You probably have.
What, Uzumaki?
Not that.
Yes, it is also the name of a fucking fish cake. But Uzumaki is about a small village where people start finding a pattern in spirals, just concentric spiral shapes fucking everywhere. So much so that they become obsessed with them, to the point where bodies start morphing into spirals. People are found dead, wrapped into a spiral shape that they should not be able to achieve. Hair curling up into floating spirals that the popular girl calls herself beautiful because of it and uses it to strangle people.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
These people believed so much in like the madness of the spiral that it actually became part of them. It gave them these weird, like, cursed obsessions with the spiral to the point where they would actually develop physicality around it. And it is worth a read or worth a watch, because I do believe they have a version on Netflix. They have a live action version too. They made a live one, and it's so good.
You made a live action version? Oh my god, I probably pooped myself. Oh my god. I wish on God that we were on cam, because you should see me and Mia's face. We're just
Oh, I know, I'm
flabbergasted.
feeding off of that.
Like, oh, that's...
The more he
So
talked,
brutal.
the more Mia's mouth got open.
I
was
like...
just slow.
I'm just appalled.
But yes, the reason why I love him so much is because he can take like the most innocent things or like the most weird things culturally that people just wouldn't think about as scary and warps and twists them so much to reflect on what it could actually be. He made a short story, illustrated one, about family trauma, which is happening a lot in not only Japanese culture but American culture too, of just like, you have to continue the bloodline or you have to do this in your father's honor or grandfather's honor, of this guy being forced into an amalgamation of all of his ancestors because he is continuing the line.
That's terrifying.
As in, he is physically attached to every single dude that came before him.
That's awful. I would hate that. But that's so creative.
That's
Like-
ingenious. Holy shit.
Like,
I would never think of that shit day of my life.
how do you break generational trauma if you are literally attached to every single generation that came before you?
You
That's
can't.
the thing. You can't.
Dude, that is such a good analogy that somebody can use.
And nobody would think of ever like doing something like that or creating a monster like that. It's something so like in the back of your head of just like, this is just an everyday part of life. Oh shit, no it's not.
That's
No,
insane.
it's not.
But yes, it's why I believe a lot of horror manga gets a really bad rep of just like being schlocky or trashy. It's just, or all about the blood and gore. Because yes, there are a lot of genres like that, just the same as like there's a lot of slasher horror movies that are just made for like amping up the body count. But at the same time, there's also a lot of authors, writers, directors, everybody involved with any form of media that go in depth and find something that you would never think of being terrifying becoming the most terrifying thing in your existence for the next 3 hours as you're done reading it.
Like, I would say, like, I would probably, how do you say his name?
Junji Ito?
I would probably read Junji Ito stuff just because it's that kind of horror. Because I like stuff like that. I like well thought out, like, metaphors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like the horror that's just blood, guts, and gore and all 24/7.
That's just cheap horror, though, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
I
oh,
don't
here's
like-
the typical horror
Don't give me
trope.
jump scares.
It's guilty pleasure.
Jump scares aren't
Like-
even scary. They're literally just, oh, are your nerves dog shit? That's crazy. Sudden thing happening.
My nerves are dog fucking shit.
I never found jump scares scary. I did always find them worth a but
They're
like,
annoying and inconvenient.
Yeah.
Since
It's
my
the
nerves
junk
are
food.
shot, I'm a kind of jumper.
It's the
Don't
junk
fucking do
food
that
of
to
horror
me,
movie.
Mia.
What?
So, like, give me a good fucking metaphor.
Hereditary.
Yeah, like haunting, generational trauma kind of horror over cheap, like, American horror
I was about to say, you
movies.
could always just read too far into the subtext of Encanto.
Wait, hold on. What did Encanto do?
Girl,
Subtext on Encanto.
yes. Of how
Encanto do?
Abuelita is a negligent grandmother, Casita was the true villain, and
Okay, hold on.
Mirabelle could have had a room the entire time. The
I'm
house
ready
just
to
wouldn't
debate
give
this.
it to her.
I am ready to debate this right now.
We
Casita
can't.
is
This
not
the
the
wrong
actual
episode.
Casita's not the villain. Dolores is. Because Dolores knew the whole fucking time that Bruno was in that house and she didn't say nothing to nobody, but she want to go run around and telling everybody else's business. She's the real villain. It's her. It's been her and it's always gonna be her.
I can actually agree with that because she did know the whole time.
Like, this could have just simply been solved if Dolores, who ran her mouth all the time, actually said, oh, hey, Bruno's still here. Why don't we try to, reconcile this broken relationship in our family so our magic can get stronger? But no,
She didn't run away. She
Like,
kept it fucking.
and you know what pisses me off
went
too?
so far off.
Hold on, I'm gonna finish. But it's like, she snitched on Mirabelle, who went into Bruno's thing to find his visions, and was like, oh, Mirabelle broke into his room and found his vision, and now our powers are about to be gone, and it's all her fault. But it's like, so you're gonna snitch on her for that, but you're not gonna tell them that Bruno's still chilling in the walls? Like, make it make sense.
That is fair, though.
That's an episode is Disney deep diving on subtext.
Yeah, honestly, we could do a full episode on that. I'd write that down.
Gaston was gay the entire time.
Okay. So, back to this episode.
Yes.
I agree. Anyway.
I think
But yeah.
I think what I really like about like magical anime and horror anime with curses and stuff like that is that it always, in my opinion, stems from something. I feel like anything that somebody was able to create just off of a whim or something that's never been done before is a product of something that they might know that we don't know. And I think that's really cool because it gives like the, not the illusion, but it gives us like that, not really hope either, but that there's things there that we can actually reference.
Reach for.
Yes. And I think that's really cool because everything is not born from nothing. And if it's born from nothing, then I don't know, maybe you just had a weird dream and that was just you in a different timeline of your life and you picked it up somewhere else.
Yeah, I believe that everything that can happen has happened, and everything that we see, I truthfully believe that there are universe. I think, okay, let me just explain it this way. The Marvel Cinematic Universe and how they've written it up and how many planets and universes and dimensions they are out there, I think that's legit.
Actually. Especially because they've already fucked up the cinematic universe compared to the comic verse. And now
I'm talking about the comics. I'm talking about the comics. I should have referenced that specifically. Sorry. But the comics... I was
about to say, you're talking to a Marvel nerd demon, damn it.
No, I was going to say the Marvel comics and like just there's an infinite amount of dimensions if you go on to how many Earths there are or how many like different things there are on their wiki. I believe there's like, it's like...
There's so many different worlds. There's so many different Earths.
It ends with like Earth XXXXXXQ fucking ABZZX. Something like that. So...
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not. I know like there's words at the end of the fucking thing. They've passed numbers. They've gone straight to letters. So that I think is a legitimate way to look at the universe. So anything that you see in media, I think is very possible that it's happening. Probably not exact, but something very similar to another universe.
Very true. Some examples of like at least curses in anime and manga that are very relevant and just like pulled from real life. You've probably seen this in a few anime, whether they be fantasy, horror, action, whatever, of a straw doll being nailed to a tree or being nailed down to a surface. Mm-hmm. That's actually a curse ritual. That's a real curse ritual where you take a effigy or a puppet of somebody and you hammer the nail through it so that you like hammer guilt or thought into them. Negative emotion.
Would you consider that voodoo?
Of a sort. A lot of cultures have that sort of thing. Like, I had heard about that ritual as early as a kid, reading scary stories to tell in the dark. You know those books that you would get at the library and just read through those tiny little short stories?
Yeah.
That's where I first heard of that one, and it's just like, yeah, take a straw doll or something to represent them and start nailing it into a tree. Hammer the nail every day, one time.
Speaking of straw doll, there's actually an example of that in Jujutsu Kaisen with Nobrea. She uses straw dolls. That's her technique, actually.
I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen is just a good modern staple of curses and how it works.
Yeah.
That's fair. Like, truthfully, all of the curses are pretty, like, legitimate. I think some of them are... I think some of the new ones are very plausible as well when you think about magic in a modern sense, because I think that everyone thinks that the gods and magic hasn't evolved with us and with humanity, but I think it's very possible that that magic evolves with humanity. So if you think that the algorithm doesn't deposit you something that you might need to hear one day, you're probably wrong. I think that the algorithm will work like that.
It's just up to you if you decide that you want to receive it or just simply not pay attention to it.
You might just not realize that it's talking to you because you're not ready to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's very possible that the gods and magic has adapted to use technology in their favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as like curses in Japanese culture and history and mythology go, they've turned a lot of their curse work into personified things. Like everything is a spirit or a demon of some sort. Like and through history, it's gone from mild inconvenience to okay, this is kind of serious to oh god, you're going to fucking die, in that order of their history.
Can I say that there's another good representation of this in Jujutsu Kaisen?
Oh my god. Just make the entire episode about Jujutsu Kaisen at this point.
Okay, the entire curse section can just be referenced by Jujutsu Kaisen because they have a smallpox curse that is a reference to the smallpox disease. They have a disaster. They have 4 disaster curses, and one of them is the disaster of humanity itself. The other one is fire, I think volcanoes and magma kind of situation. One is the ocean, and probably it's probably more like hurricanes and tidal waves and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
and those are all forces of nature that can be called on. I at the same time, though, I was referring more to like just like they've turned curses into spirits, so they have something to blame the curse on. Like, you can go as early as like the Kappa, which everybody's just like, oh, it's a harmless little water sprite. Don't go swimming with it though, or it will pull your will to live out of your ass. That is literally what they do.
I think it's a case of that. That is how the curses are created in Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, they personify them?
Yeah, they're personified.
Ah.
Yeah, it's not that humanity created them.
Yeah.
I feel like that is also a good reference of cursing yourself. And hearing about all of this, and I'm low-key just like, Japan really willed all of this into existence. They quite literally cursed themselves.
Oh god, no. If I see a black-haired woman in a like safety mask asking me if I'm pretty in the middle of the street, I'm fucking running. And if you don't know that one, Space, look up the slit mouth woman, you'll know.
You said black-haired Japanese woman and I thought of Sadako for some reason.
I mean, kinda same story.
That's fair, yeah.
Like, Sadako and the slit mouth woman were both girls. The only difference is Slitmouth Woman got married to a very abusive person, and when he got drunk, decided he would cut up her pretty face so that no man would ever look at her. Hey, guess what? Vengeful spirit.
Absolutely, because how dare you fuck up my hot girl summer? That's crazy.
Yeah, so now if you see a woman walk up to you with a mask saying, "Are you pretty?" If you say yes, she pulls down the mask, asks again. If you say no, she makes your mouth like hers.
What if you say yes again?
If you say yes, she calls you a liar and then she kills you. So you either get mutilated or you get murdered.
And disrespected, because that's crazy how you say I'm not beautiful.
Yeah, looking up her legend, and I got like really into looking up her legend because there was again a live action movie of this. Looking up her legend, the only way to actually escape her is confuse her. You ask her if you are pretty, or you ask her a random question that has nothing to do with her beauty or her appearance, and she just goes, "What?" And then you fucking book it. You run.
That's really a good idea. That's so crazy. I'm learning I'm about to start looking into some Japanese folklore because like hearing about all this stuff is like, it's so interesting and I want more.
That's a fairly recent one. There's the Kappa, which again just takes out your inspiration, your like ideas and creative ideas. He sucks those out of your ass, and that's an ancient curse. Kappas, in ancient Japanese society, all of your inspirations, your will to do creative things was called a shiriko dama, and it was behind your anus. And the Kappa ate that after pulling it out of you. And that's the ancient one, compared to the modern one of woman with slit face will murder you. Or the teke teke of do not walk on the train tracks at night or you will be sliced in half by her.
This is wild. This is so wild. I am
Yeah.
on a ride right now, and it's crazy.
Yeah, you can see how it developed from just like, oh, this is a bit of an inconvenient thing, to, okay, this is a little bit more severe, to now, you will die.
Yeah,
You
no,
will just die.
that sounds like a gradual buildup of some sort of manifestation, but not the
and
good kind. Because
they
bad
line,
manifestation is a thing.
yeah, that is true, and it lines up with actual history of just like, okay, magic used to be about helping with the harvest, helping somebody who's ill, or help us defend from invaders. It was passive, and then it became more active of just like, I want this person off the fucking throne. I want their entire family gone at some point.
My God.
Inspiring of violence or other things like that nature, to the modern of just like, okay, I want this person fucking dead. I have their photo and I'm burning it right here.
Well, I've been muted this whole time, so God only knows what I've said.
But yeah, magic, curses in particular, evolved with the people who needed them.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
of
means
course, oh, sorry.
I don't remember what I was gonna say, to be honest. Never mind.
Of course, that has been reflected in pop culture as well, through movies, through television, manga, anime, where it's just like, oh, classic manga and anime, it's just like, we're the happy witch girls, we'll make your wishes come true, to, oh, they use magic, we're going to die here.
You know what's funny that I literally just thought about that we actually talked before about in one of our episodes? WandaVision.
Still not a fan of that show.
It was all right. I just don't like how none of the buildup was even remotely related to the Doctor Strange movie. But I will always say,
So let me tell you why. I will tell you why they botched that whole situation. Because the writers of Doctor Strange did not watch WandaVision.
they didn't do their research, clearly.
They did not do their research.
The writers of WandaVision did not read the comic of WandaVision.
I mean, that's fine.
Yes.
In truth, the MCU was already deviating from the comics before that
they
point. They
deviated long ago.
So that's to be expected. I don't even expect them to reference the comics anymore because they deviated so long ago.
Yeah, but now everybody's saying my two favorite characters that developed as a result of that are going to be 10 when they come out.
Oof.
Young Avengers.
What do you mean come out?
Billy. Okay, Billy and Tommy from WandaVision are two of the Young Avengers, and they are my favorite characters. Because, one, it is bisexual and gay representation. And two, they actually get happy couplings.
The only thing that I could say about that is that could actually, and I know they won't do it, that could be a very dynamic storyline for them to come out with. Them accepting their sexuality.
Yeah, except they've already fucked it up, and now they're just going to be like, well, when Young Avengers happens, it's going to be one 18-year-old and three 12-year-olds.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, with the way that the MCU is going, they're probably going to deviate from all of it. And like, in truth, I don't expect much from the next MCU cinematic universe movies.
Oh, MCU is dead to me at this point.
I haven't expected anything since
Endgame.
Yes, like once Endgame hit, that the fucking Marvel universe just tanked.
Okay. Okay, for one, I do have to agree that WandaVision is a very good representation of magic because of the way that Wanda's magic works. But that's not anime, and we need to get back on track.
That is true.
It's not anime. It's fandom, though.
It does filter into this topic, and that is throughout any form of media, be it written or watched, you need to tweak the magic and make it not magic. You need to change it a little bit and say it's like a special power, or it is magic, but it's like the innocent kind or the impossible kind. You need to change it just enough to not make the church mad. Because let's face it, we lost a lot of magical knowledge, magical texts, magical people through a few things, aka the Inquisition and the Crusades. And nowadays,
And we
people
lost a
still
lot of
remember
healer women in the witch trials.
witch trials,
Not
yes.
not that they were technically witches, but they were still healers and they were women of knowledge. So
Yep. You can read, you die.
you can perform miracles by knowing what herbs to treat people with. You die.
Had an opinion, how dare you?
So I include those women in that situation as well.
And people remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they be magical or not, people remember that shit. And how extreme things get. So they're just like, we gotta change this just a little so the Catholics don't want to bomb us.
Let's not, like, okay. That's a little bit far. Let's tune it back, for one. Where are we on the script, my dude? Because I am lost.
Tweak it just enough not to make the church mad.
Okay, the very end of the... Okay, hold up. Woof. I don't know how to read.
We had a Marvel tangent twice now, so...
Yeah, that's where I got lost. I was like, wait a second. We went on a Marvel tangent, now I don't know where we're at. You're right. That's pretty much it is true. Like, when you want to do, like, actual magic, yeah, you have to change it just enough. Where you're not using... The funny part is, half of the shit that they talk about the church, hell and all that shit, ain't even from fucking the Bible, dude.
That is true, but they will claim it is until their death.
I'm just like... Hell was never once referenced in the Bible.
Not in the Old Testament.
I think the only time it was referenced is in the apocalyptic part.
Genesis. Oh wait, no, that's Revelations.
I was like, no, that's the beginning, isn't it? What's it fucking called? I don't know. It's not the New Testament. It's the section afterwards that was written like way later. So like, I'm like, I don't count that as the Bible because that's the church fucking doing church shit.
Yep.
As the church does.
So,
but yeah, well, because of that remembered trauma, a lot of people will just change things to make it fit, to make it acceptable, and it's an absorbable form of media because of that.
And it's funny, that's why you relate to it, because you have that generational trauma sitting in the back of your brain.
And then you look into it more, and that's the point of it, I think, is just like, okay, we disguised it enough where you will look at this, and you'll want to dig deeper. But we aren't going to catch for it.
I think a lot of time that demons and curses are referenced is when that people start to really look into it, because that is the dark and mysterious and dirty section of magic, and that's always the more intriguing one. But then they start looking into the other parts because it all applies to each other. Without bad, you can't have good, so it all wraps around. It goes 180.
Yeah, and it's a blending of all cultures. Speaking of which, with the blending of all cultures, both anime and manga, we come to our next topic, how these cultures came together, otherwise titled as Fate Stay Home, Bitch.
Okay,
which
I gotta say, I actually am kind of a big fan of the Fate series, just because of how absurd it is. They embrace it.
I'm just a fan of staring at Gilgamesh and Cahulin.
That's fair. Like, that's 100% fair, because Gilgamesh is a hot piece of ass anyway. And he's a dick, too.
That's why I like him.
But I really like that the longer, like, the more that the heroic spirits, they're absurd. Saber is that's King Arthur. Absurd. Great. Love it. Perfect.
Alexander, Gilgamesh and Enkidu.
Like, the fact that the greatest king of England is a little girl. Perfect. Love it. Love it. You know how much shade that is?
Bro, they had Alexander the Great as a fucking giant, and I love it.
I actually loved Alexander the Great. I've only seen a couple. I've seen like the first 3 of the series before it just got. I couldn't keep up. They're so different, and there's so many.
I don't even know where it starts because they started off with weird titling. They went Kingdom Hearts level weird titling.
Oh yeah, they've always been like absurd with their titles, which is, I mean, it goes with the fucking whole theme of the franchise. But I also think that there is actually very good cases for magic in that series as well. There's a lot of uses of magic circles and packs.
Yeah, boy.
So yeah, that's also a very good representation of magic. I do have to say.
What would you say are some other titles that really blend like different cultures into a specific one? Because I know there's like ghost stories, which if you watch the English dub, I know it's the meme of just the voice actors gave up and decided to say fuck it to every episode, and it's funny because of that. But it does actually have some ghosts and demons that come from either European folklore or US folklore that sort of like fall in line with Japanese ideals of this is a spirit, and they kind of put them in their own episodes.
Honestly, I don't actually know that many past Fate. I think that Fate does it so well that it overshadows a lot of others.
That is true, honestly. It's the most well widely spread series considering it's got video games and everything, movies.
Yeah.
Would you add Final Fantasy into that category?
Oh, I totally would.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, actually that's another good, because they do from all over.
Ifrit, the Phoenix,
Shiva.
Well, they kind of changed Shiva and made her like a goddess of ice rather than destruction, but I think it counts.
They do a lot of different versions of her though.
Bahamut.
They do in every Final Fantasy that there's a different version of those goddess. So
Yeah.
That's true.
those
I think the
gods
most
and stuff.
widespread one that they use, and I've seen it in almost every single title after I think he was introduced in 3, and that is Leviathan. Which is
Yeah, that one's in there.
Yeah, Leviathan was European.
And it's funny because that is sometimes kind of like a dragon, and then more recently it's been like, I want to say it was like a hydra
Yeah.
the last time it was seen.
Yeah. And even though he's become kind of a meme, especially if you play Final Fantasy XIV, Gilgamesh and Enkidu, again, they make their return. And they did start out true to their legend, a giant green demon beast and a master of almost every single form of combat, deciding to become best bros to wreck the world together in a chaotic friendship journey.
That's fair. Like, that's also a good reference. Damn, I don't really know any other good references that use that, like, as well as Final Fantasy or Fate. I was actually looking for examples.
And I think those shows are, those forms of media, Final Fantasy and Fate, are so good and so popular because they include all of these elements. They're just like, hey, I recognize that.
I don't know if y'all have played Smite.
You forced me into it once.
I don't believe you because I wouldn't even play Smite willingly by myself.
Yeah, Smite for one, but also League of Legends.
Less so on the League.
Yeah, I'd say less.
Okay, because there's multiple references to Cassiopeia's referenced in
That's
Medusa.
fair, yeah. Cassiopeia,
Ahri.
Wukong, Ahri.
There is so many references. Like, now the newer the newer ones, yes. They're not really, but the old, like, probably the last
You League of
10.
Legends, like, you kind of have to reach for it, but it is there.
It's no, they have like they
No, it's
reference
not.
some things.
Yeah, like Wukong is based off of the Monkey King.
Yeah, Sun Wukong.
I think Ari is a Kusin.
Yeah.
Nine-tailed fox. There is Cassiopeia is Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
She is a reference to Medusa.
Master Yi is the Golden General.
There is plenty, like a lot of the old. I was gonna say a lot of the older champions.
The older stuff.
I was gonna say within the last maybe 5 years they've deviated it from with their releases, but before that, a lot of the champions could be referenced to just different mythology.
I think the weirdest one I've seen is somebody did like a full analysis on how Malphite is the world turtle from Buddhism because he's a giant living mountain.
Malphite's just a rock.
I'm like 99% sure there's a different mythology he's actually based off of.
Yeah, that's the one I've read though. Is just like they.
Oh yeah, no, but
they reached far enough where he's just like a Buddhist figure that holds the world on his back.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. Definitely don't think so. Oh, and like they've like a lot of the champions that they've reworked were like Galio used to be a gargoyle.
Galio used to be a gargoyle.
Which is a part of mythology because they used to come alive at night to protect their buildings.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yep.
So
who else? Pantheon.
Every single one of the Yordles is a gnome.
Yeah.
Pantheon. Referencing the Greeks.
Not just that, he's referencing Sparta more directly.
True.
With the way he's dressed, he's very much referencing Sparta. So I think
he's more Theban than Spartan because Spartans sucked.
But I think that Athenians had more armor, didn't they?
Athenians had more armor, which is why they won more.
Yeah, but this is why I say he's Spartan because he wears pretty much next to nothing.
Yeah.
He just got a fucking loincloth on. But yeah, I think that there's actually a very good argument to say that League does it very well.
Yeah. I'd say used to do it very well.
Yeah,
true. That's because they got their own lore now.
Yeah.
So
and it only took them, what, 20 years? It feels like 20 years.
I think that, no, they've been working on the lore since the beginning, to be honest. I think that, because they had names for places since the very beginning.
Yeah.
So I think it just took them a while to kind of realize that people were interested in knowing more of the lore.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
The difference is League, you had to like look for what the inspiration was after seeing it, whereas Smite just goes, okay, here are the actual godly figures.
Oh yeah. With Smite, it's blatant.
Like, here's a god. You're interested? Look them up.
Oh, also, the God of War series.
Yes, to an extent.
Kronos has deviated from Greek to Ragnarok and the Norse mythology, so they have very much crossed over.
What is that game?
I see Mia going.
Hades!
I think it's called Hades. Hades. Really well.
That's a good one, too.
I fucking love that game.
I haven't played it, but I want to play it so badly.
Oh, girl, I will let you, like, borrow my copy.
Give me, I want to play it so fucking badly.
Well, can you? Can we share Steams with each other?
You have to do it through a very roundabout way, but yes. Also, we probably shouldn't talk about that on the cast.
You're right. Anyway, we'll talk about that later, but I would love to share Steams with you guys. I want to play more games. I want to try more games.
I was about to say, my Steam library is quite huge.
Listen,
but yes,
I got nothing.
With all of these representations in different cultures / created by or like done again by different cultures, there are things we lose in the translation. And that is very apparent in Smite itself, because like they go through the stories and then like here's a power kit of theirs versus they're an actual god. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's also very apparent in any kind of video game, actually. because
Very true.
they're limited to their 4 or 5 move set, and gods can do so much more than that.
Yes, but there's also animes where it's just like this character is a god, but they can't be so powerful as to not be confronted by anybody.
That's evident in Fate.
Fate, yes, very much so.
Especially because they're actually limited by the magic of their pact holder.
Yep. It's also relevant in almost every isekai that draws on different cultures, where it's just like, well, the main character's gotta fight them at some point. So we can't have them being all powerful. We have to, like, tone them down a little bit. There's also times where, like, gods or goddesses have a different take on them, where it's a total personality shift, where despite their folklore being like, this is the kindest heritage goddess, or they help with the harvest and have never harmed anyone, and then you see them in like this video game or piece of media where it's just like, it's 100 years later, fuck all of you.
I feel like that could also kind of apply to D&D too.
Yes, very much so.
Because D&D does the whole like referencing different gods from different mythologies and stuff, but then like giving them like a human persona, like a corporeal form where they can just walk around amongst humans and just do whatever they want. And also like dragons in Dungeons and Dragons have human forms sometimes, and it takes away from their actual power because they're in a different form. And so if they want to use their like real power, they would have to turn back into a dragon.
Yes. I actually have a video game reference for this, and it deals with the Greeks, and it has become one of my favorite games that has released this year. It is called Stray Gods. It is a role-playing musical about you being the last muse, and all of the gods have deep-seated trauma from as far back as when they were born to modern day now.
Didn't you play that for us?
I played a little bit for you. So you see,
I was gonna say, this sounds familiar.
Yeah,
right?
So you see like figures like Apollo, who was always known as just like this poetic, very inspired by beauty, god of the sun, always willing to inspire, to just modern day where now he's a rundown bum. He's tired of prophecy because knowing a prophecy makes you adhere to it. There's no avoiding it once you hear it. He does not sing anymore. All of his friends are gone, and he's just tired. Versus Persephone, who, if you follow the mythos of Hades and Persephone, or at least the mainstream one, she got so upset with Hades, so tired of Hades and the other gods' bullshit of not helping her while she was down there. She's like, fuck it, I'll kill my husband myself. Now the goddess of the harvest is a badass bitch. Come take my throne.
And then there's Pan.
Then there's Pan, who is just... Pan is so good.
Pan is Pan.
Pan is Pan and always will be, but you can tell he's just like tired the entire time of just like, yeah, I'm the god of festivals and good times and cheer and had by all. But behind that, he's just like, I'm done with being immortal. Immortality sucks. I want to get out of here. But I'm going to have all the fun I can in the meantime.
Which, fair. Take the opportunity when you have it.
Yeah. I think the only one they like stuck to the hardest for the story, and this is what made it good, is Athena. And Athena will always be Athena, goddess of law, goddess of knowledge, wisdom, that kind of thing, as well as strategic battle. Look up Athena's story, she's awesome, except for that shit she did to Medusa if you read the wrong story. But Athena has done the most to stick to who she was, to the point of just like vehemently denying modernism. Mm-hmm. She refuses anything modern because all she knows is the ancient way.
Ah, getcha. Also, I want to say the fact that we are winging this episode completely, and we've already passed an hour.
Damn, we're not even on topic 4 yet.
That's true.
We are not on topic 4 yet.
Well, we have two more subtopics here. Should we just like speed run them?
I would want to talk about why it works for some and not all. The types of magic can be any type, infinite types of magic. Like you've got, I don't know, the schools of magic. There's that, and then it's just, to me, magic is just ever evolving. Like it'll take from the history, but then it'll have modern aspects of it, and it just deviates into something new. So I feel like I don't think there is there. I don't really think there's such a thing as too much magic, honestly.
I don't think so either.
In terms of
not
types,
because my existent.
in terms of types, but if you're trying to do actual magic, then yeah, there is some too many or too much magic.
There's a little too much of everything.
Yeah.
In terms of exploring different types, there's no limit. There's I swear on God that there is every type of magic. There is technology magic, swear, that you can use tech. There's all kind of new magic that nobody even thinks about. There's probably magic that evolved from cities itself, city spirits, and shit like that. And that I think a lot of the term of new age magic is looked as like, oh my God, how dare you? New age, and it's not all wrong.
Yeah, I will say
it's just
as far
humans
as
exploring new possibilities.
yes, as far as exploring magical types or different versions of magic practice go, just stick tried and true with the old saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Spittin'.
Totally stolen quote.
The funny part is, I knew that quote, but for a long time, I only knew it as jack of all trades, but master of none.
That's
so
because it's shifted culturally to only be important to people that mastered one thing.
But the whole saying in and of itself makes far more sense.
Yeah. So, like, do your exploring. See what interests you, sticks to you as far as magical things go. Could be curses, chaos magic, divination, tarot readings, spirituality.
For the record, I will say that is, in truth, the basis of chaos magic.
Yeah. Exploration.
Figuring out what works for you. Numerology, go ahead on to that. If that dies out and that's not your interest anymore, okay, you move on to a different kind of whatever. You just learn whatever the fuck you want with respect to the cultures.
Yes. We all find our own interests, and this next topic we're about to bring up is one of my personal interests, and that is spell circles. They are not just for show.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of the spell circles you see in anime, now, certain ones, yeah, you can tell that they're not realistic, but the other ones, they're pretty spot on.
I have to look at visual examples here.
I was gonna say, specifically one that I cannot say would work is any of the Card Captor Sakura ones.
I light on that one.
Only because they have little details in there that speak specifically to the culture of the anime and stuff like that. So that's why they wouldn't work in our world, because those cards don't exist in our world.
However, in series, because they did this in Tsubasa too, Tsubasa and Cardcaptor Sakura both use spell circles, and while they may not be accurate, they may be more for aesthetic and visual pleasing in effects rather than actually useful. They do contain elements of actual circles. Like, in a lot of Cardcaptor Sakura ones, they actually include an outer circle around the main spell circle where it lists the Roman numerals of what type or level, I guess, that they are incanting at. And that is a very real thing, because that is a restriction.
I was going to say, they're just embellished. I was going to say, they're just embellished with elements from the anime.
Yeah.
But you could strip those embellishments out, and those would be pretty logistic. Legitimate?
Legitimate, yeah.
Okay, I
There's
don't know
also
English.
Full Metal Alchemist, where they use a lot of alchemical symbols within their circles and things of that nature, where while the circles may be totally made up for just aesthetic pleasing, the alchemical symbols are very real. The alchemical alphabet can give you a whole lot of symbology to work off of. As well as like different languages and things of that nature. Sword Art Online, I'm going back to it even though I hate it. Season 2 covers the language of the Fae, or the Seelie Court as it were, and while that may not be a real language, it does contain actual Welsh.
Oh shit.
You better make me go back and watch season 2 of Sword Art Online against my
I was
will.
gonna say I need to deal with my time better and watch more anime. Holy shit. Even though I've just been watching fucking One Piece with Mia, so
That's
Yeah.
all I'm watching right now. When I get to a good point in One Piece to where I can start watching other anime, I will, but until then it's only One Piece.
Yes.
and I think that piece is gonna be the time skip.
Yeah, probably.
Because you'll feel like that's a good time to break for a little bit.
Yeah. But with most spell circles that you see in media, the ones in Wanda's hands for WandaVision, the Sorcerer Supreme's ones, anything you see in an anime like Cardcaptor Sakura, JJK, or anything like that, if you see a spell circle and it looks really pretty, do not use it.
Okay, I do have one question though. Okay. For fandom related, Final Fantasy XIV, there's a class called Red Mage, and their limit break 3 is like this it's a big circle. And then it's a blinding beam of white light that you literally cannot see through because it's the most obnoxious limit break in the entire game. But
Let me see.
can you focus?
Do not use it.
I have no
Yeah,
idea
I
what
can-
this might be referencing, but it looks evil.
Yeah, no. See, the thing is, even if the spell circle actually means nothing with its symbology because you're just copying it from a media source, and most of the times those are dressed up to be prettier for other people to see.
When you strip them down.
Yes,
It's
just by doing a
referenced
spell
from
or
something.
yeah, if you use a spell or a ritual around it, you are calling on something. You are calling something to that spot and its surroundings. And if you don't know what you're dealing with and then you're building the circle, you will not like what comes out.
Yeah, it's not gonna be pleasant. It's not gonna have fun. It's gonna be a bad time.
It could be the most well-intentioned thing ever. The problem is, you got your math and your circle and your symbols wrong, so
And that's
that
why we're
goodwill got twisted into something dark and you turned it on yourself. Congrats.
And that's why we're here.
Y'all can deal with the math part. I am the gay that's not good at math.
Oh, bitch, you're on your own.
You are the
and
gay
I'm
that's good
on-
at drawing, so I'll just send you the math to trace out.
I did everybody's graphics though. Yay!
That is
Anyway,
true.
I got more graphics to do though.
But yes, so when using circles, it's best to know what you're looking for, and that is what leads me into, have either of you two ever seen an actual spell circle before summoning me?
Like in real life?
Yes.
Nope.
Before summoning you? Nope. And that's why we're here.
Right? We did the math wrong. We fucked up. We gotta go back to algebra school.
That's why we're here.
You really, really did. But yes, a famous example of a lot of spell circles, and this is where a lot of people draw on inspiration to make circles from,
Snacky.
is the imagery of the Tree of Life. The Yggdrasil. Which contains a whole lot of realms, and all of them are composing a different circle that explains that reality.
Okay, give me a second. I'm looking for some Tree of Life. Actually, isn't sacred geometry a lot used in...
Sacred geometry is used a lot in it, yes. It's actually one of the core foundations of sacred geometry.
That's what I thought.
There is also a lot of spell work within Aleister Crowley's books, which,
Oh yeah.
while a lot of people are kind of mixed opinion on Crowley, Crowley knew his math. He was a very bright person. And he knew a whole lot of shit about how to make a circle and balance it perfectly. And that includes restrictions, symbology, what lines go where, and what order to draw them in.
This is
That's
another
extreme
case
as a
of
math.
critical thinking.
Yes.
Because, yeah, you can indulge in Crowley's work without supporting his means. Like, it's uploaded online. Buy it for free. And I mean, he's technically dead. He's not going to get anything from your fucking money if you buy it anyway.
Exactly. And
So
the third and final example I have here, and this is
Oh,
one
and-
I recommend no one check out because this is where you messed up. The Lesser Key of Solomon, a
Okay.
book containing the names and rituals of summoning for a whole lot of demons, which has examples of their spell circles. Again, I would not try them out. You're inviting bad things. Hi.
our
But
bad.
it contains mathematics, elements of the circle, and order in which to draw your lines.
So again, it's another thing of you can indulge in certain things and realize that, oh, these are traits that I don't want to like adopt.
Yes.
So just indulge critically, please.
Yes.
Because some of those topics are pretty harsh and definitely should not be replicated. And some of them are fine.
I would say if you are willing to make the jump of trying to draw out spell circles or anything of that nature to perform your ritual work, or even just as a form of meditation, because I have used that as well, the basics of making your own circle, or of making any circle in general, is to have the geometry down. Know what lines to make, and how long they should be at what angle they should be, because it is an exact practice. You need to know the symbols and restrictions.
That means that the circle should be pretty close to perfect. So you weren't going to involve in art supplies. Drawing spell
compass.
circles is, yeah, a compass. Spell circles is not for the faint-hearted. That is very advanced math and advanced spell work. So be very careful.
Second of all, if you are summoning an entity, not one you know the name of, just a random entity or energy from somewhere, there are rules, much like a spirit board or a Ouija board. The rules are simple. Do not accept any deal. Do not give it your name. Call yourself something else. It can be a nickname that you're never going to be using again, or even just name yourself after a color. And third, if you don't know what it is, do not ask its name.
Oops.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. I want to talk about something really quickly before we wrap up, because this reminded me of a little while ago, Baji had hosted a campaign where myself and a bunch of other players worked at a diner, right? And it was called the OK Diner. And my character, ever stupid, decided to play a game with an entity and promptly lost her name because she gave it to him and lost the game. And no, she didn't completely lose. She almost lost. She lost, like, her name was already short. So she didn't have that many letters. Her name was Erin. And every time she lost, they would take a letter off of her name. And it was so wild.
That was one of my favorite sessions.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, I wouldn't give this thing my name, but my character's not me. And she's a little stupid, so she's going to give them her name. And lo and behold, she almost died because of it.
And that's a real example of what would happen for real with a demon.
It's essentially Fey rules. Like, if you give them your name, they can take it and use it. If you ask it its name, you give it an identity, and it can step through. It's
shit.
There's also movies about like people accidentally summoning a spirit and like relating it to a relative of just like, oh, they came and they did this one nice thing in my house. It must be the spirit of my grandma. Oh, now it has the identity of your grandma, and you've allowed them in. It will take anything you give it, and it will use it. So if you relate it to anything, relate it to an outside force. It is not yours. You are not allowed to control it. You are merely allowed to communicate.
And that's for that on Don't Summon Random Entities.
I mean, it worked out well for you.
Yeah, because we're bad bitches.
Yeah, we're bad bitches.
We're lucky bad bitches.
There. Like we like clearly we knew where we needed the lines to be, but we didn't know where we needed the lines to be.
Our circle had a little squiggle.
It just had one little squiggle. It must be why you're gay.
We didn't do the SpongeBob method. What?
Wow. You really think I'm that petty to change sexuality on a symbol?
Oh, this bitch forgot this was not a perfect circle. Suddenly homosexual.
Wait, no, that's not what I meant. I meant that's why we got a gay demon. It's because we had squiggly lines in ours.
We are now in the cancel space era. Let me cross out that line in the contract.
That's not cancelable.
Is it? Squiggly lines makes you gay, y'all. This is canon Witches and Weebs lore information. Don't fact check us, but squiggly lines make you gay.
Well, oh, okay, to be fair.
That's not what I meant at all.
Summoning or not, I never made you sign the contracts. Y'all just did that.
What I got to lose?
That's fair. Like, we could have definitely said no.
Who, my life crazy? I mean, oh, my life.
Well, y'all caved to peer pressure immediately.
And we were like, well, fuck it, why not? What could go wrong? You'll know.
So yes, essentially, do not make a circle without looking up your shit first and making sure it is diamond ready. Like, cut that shit and make sure it is exact.
So, again, spell circles are not for the faint-hearted. They are not for beginners, intermediates, or I would just say you have to be a fucking expert witch to be diving into spell circles.
Also, if you're a teenager listening, don't curse your parents.
Please don't.
Unless they're really shitty parents.
And make sure you're out of the house first. Actually, teenagers, don't curse your parents because you live in the same house, and whatever curse you give your parents, you're going to have to deal with the consequences. So wait until you're out of their house.
In the sale of cinnamon.
So wait until you're out of their house. Actually, I just bought cinnamon. I'm part of that uptick.
So
I literally just bought a big bag of cinnamon.
Well, maybe you can use it because tonight for personal touches, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm actually going to give everybody an assignment again. So everybody, before you come at me and be like, I don't have that in my yes, you do. Everybody has it. I want you guys to look up in your birth charts where Cancer is at. Cancer.
Moon!
With my family in the lungs.
That hurt me, actually.
I had to inject a little bit of dark humor.
That was not oh, damn. My granddaddy died from cancer in the lungs, too.
So did my mom.
Oh, my God.
It runs in the family. All three of ours, apparently.
Me, I remember we said we were connected.
Does that mean we have cancer?
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like that's odd that like my granddaddy fucking died. Like, all three of us? Lung cancer? In the family? That's wild. Anyway, everybody has, what you're gonna do is you're gonna look where it is on your houses if you don't have a placement in the Cancer. Because everybody has a house that is ruled by Cancer. And you're gonna figure out where, for one, Cancer Its energy is nurturing, nostalgic, focused on home life, family, and emotional repertoire. Has a tendency to overdo and uncomfortable with unfamiliar surroundings. So you're going to look at where that applies in your houses. And for the body, Cancer rules over your tatas, and everybody has boobs, your breasts, stomach, womb, which is for femme-born, and liver. That's a very odd last item. Just liver. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, that is an organ, isn't it?
I was like, they went from womb to liver. Like, that's 180.
Livers for the femboys.
I have nothing to say. That was stunned to silence. I
just saw both of your faces.
I'm just gonna look at my chart now so I can see where my cancers are, because I totally have a moon Cancer, and like, yeah, my Cancer. What is in my house?
I forgot where you put mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't we do his?
We did.
I don't remember though. I forgot. We had it. Oh, actually, isn't it in the Discord?
I think so.
Which one though?
The
astrology.
It's either an astrology. Or
you didn't put yours up. I did mine. Okay, my Cancer is 10th house.
Mine is my 11th house.
Mine is somewhere.
And if we check our wonderful book of astrology, the 10th house...
We will have to post yours in the chat, because I do have mine in one of these chats. Mia, you have to post yours too.
The 10th house is career and status, and you said yours is an 11th?
Yeah.
Friends and group associations. Bitch, you love your friends.
I do. I'm like obsessed with my friends. I don't think you guys realize. My friends are for life if you guys love me enough.
Aww.
Like, I will, like, if you guys want to communicate, I might get my feelings hurt at first, but I will always want to communicate and figure shit out. I am not somebody that lets go. But if you let go and you fuck me over, I will burn every bridge that has ever existed, and you are dead to me. So, let that be known. I am all about my friends. My friends are everything.
Oh, wait, here it is. I found it. So,
I say that, but like...
Cancer ascendant.
Oh. Yeah. 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 That tracks.
I have to say so, yeah. I can see it.
Because, when I first met you, baby. Emotional baby.
Yeah.
We all go through those times, though.
And now look at you. We know that you're a Taurus, and yes, you are. But when
I believe
when I
the
first
words
met you,
were...
baby.
Yeah. I believe your words were, let me check up here again. God damn, it's far way back. It's in the main chat for some reason. You are the Capricorn of all time, according to Space.
You do have a lot of Capricorn placements, but I can also see your Cancer. When I think of Cancer, I just relate them to little emotional babies, because they are little emotional babies. How did this get into astrology? Oh, right, your special touch. Yeah, okay.
Yes, my special touch. For one, I am very emotional with my friends. I'll cry over my friends, 100%. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the last bit. Let's wrap up and
yes, essentially
close out.
Our next episode.
Yes, we're gonna recommend where you start with your witchcraft journey.
Hooray!
I'm gonna be learning with this too. Yay!
Yes, we're going to start, since we covered meditation and spirituality in general, which I do say every witch needs to practice, that it's very hard to not be spiritually inclined in some sort of fashion. That does not mean spirituality. You could be religious, you could be Christian, you could be Buddhist, you could be Jewish, you could be, there's Jewish witches, there's fucking Muslim witches. Trust me, you could be any sort of religious. You just have to believe in some greater power of some sort.
I'll
Something
teach you how to
more.
summon your own Baji.
You're not gonna get
Something more
our
than-
Baji, but you'll get a Baji, but it won't be the best.
Yeah, it's
Baji.
be like a different Baji.
I
This
have too
Baji's
many
ours.
brothers.
We have the best Baji though.
Damn right.
So, that's gonna be our next episode. Is this starting your witchcraft journey?
Hooray. Can't wait for that one.
I will have to say I learned something very recently about what was in our next episode that I'm actually gonna change something because I've changed my belief on something, and it's very
Alright.
interesting. So, that's gonna be episode 9. I can't wait to have you guys here. So let's get this wrapped up. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notification bell for updates for when it goes live. We will be posting more content very, very soon.
Yes.
Promise.
Hooray.
So let's wrap it up.
Yes, and until next time, remember, the door is open to those that explore. The door is closed to those that ignore. We say goodnight, but not goodbye, for all of our stars are here to shine. This is where we would put our sponsor message, if we had one!
Check out Billy Blanks' fitness tapes.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You motherfuckers, I literally had to... Okay, thank you for coming. I literally had my recording turned off and I had to turn it back on because you guys are assholes. Anyway, thank you for coming, everybody.
Stay
Love you
safe,
guys.
everybody.
Stay safe.